This PSA was brought to you by The Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the Foster. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's
Yeah.
Adam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
That's right, it's showtime. Wednesday, last Wednesday of the month. July is getting ready to say adios. How the hell is everybody? It's hot. Summertime, right? Don't give me that climate change bullshit. It's summertime. It's hot, but it is hot. It is hot. We haven't even gotten it. In Southern California, September is usually the doozy. It's like a doozy. Oh, I hope everybody's doing well. I really do. I hope that all the time. I can't say it enough. I wish everyone well. I do. I'm so sick and tired of people going through crap and us struggling and everybody struggling. Life's a bitch. They're not making it any easier either. But that's the plan. So don't give up. That's why we're here. To hold each other up and say, you're not alone. Want to welcome everybody to Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday right here, like clockwork, God willing, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. I can't tell you enough how grateful I am for every day, every minute, and especially when I get to do this show, because doing the show is the easiest part of my whole week. It's everything immediately after, all the way up to the show that leads up to the show. A lot of work involved, behind the scenes stuff. But not to worry. I can handle it. I'm a professional. I'll rise above it. We got a great show tonight. We really do. And there's a story behind this show, and unfortunately it hit close to home for me, but we're going to talk about it. You know, sometimes you got to, these things happen. Actually, that's how this Peter G Show all evolved. I mean, had things not happened to me, moi, yours truly, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would not be sitting here. I would have never done this. I don't know what I would have been, maybe still playing music. I don't know. It's hard. Music business is real difficult. It's not like it was. There's people with number one hits right now that live in one-bedroom apartments. It's like unheard of. That was not what I signed up for back in the day. But back in the day, things were different. These past 10 years, everything has shifted. It's a whole new world. So you evolve. But I'm just saying, I would not be here had it not been for the events that led into my life, which weren't really the greatest of events. Clearly, you've heard the stories. Go watch the old shows. But nonetheless, everything happens for a reason, and here I am. So, leading up to tonight's show. Tonight's show, hang on one second, let's see what's going on here. Hey, y'all. Peter G Show says, hey. Anyway, Dan. God bless Dan. If I had a million Dans, we'd be okay. And a few others. I am truly grateful for my true blue, diehard fans. And the new ones that come in, but that's why you got to share. But okay, I'm getting sidetracked already again. Which leads up to tonight's show. Something happened in my life that I see on Facebook people talking about these things all the time, honestly. But I hear and I feel for everyone, but I just didn't consider it to be a show. But the light had to get turned on, and the light did get turned on, and that's why we're doing tonight's show. Tonight, last Wednesday of July, when your pets get sick, the cost of pet health care. Most people love their pets as much as they do their own family, like children. A lot of people don't have children and have pets. I've got people I grew up with. They've never had kids. And, they've gone through, they've got dogs and cats and all kinds of stuff like that. And that's their kids. Look, I'm not saying, I actually like having a child. I'd probably do it again if I had another one like the one I got. But either way, the thing is, my child has pets. And we had an occurrence, which I'll get into in a few minutes, that led up to this show because we had an emergency. And it was a dire emergency. I can honestly say that. And it came out with a happy ending, but there was a price to pay to have a happy ending and everything be okay. And that's what we're going to talk about because it's expensive if things go wrong with your pet and you have to make life or death decisions. And I think that really sucks, having to play God or just, because you can't afford it. But we're going to talk about that just in a few minutes coming up. Don't forget, feel like a broken record, but it's for a good cause. Please, if you like what I do, you care about what I do, you humor me for what I do, just go over to YouTube real quick and go and hit the subscribe button. I have to beat these people at their own game. They've made it so difficult for me to grow, and I'm not being seen. And unless I get more subscriptions from starting over again, it's tough. And I know a lot of you people watch from different platforms, and you're watching from LinkedIn or Facebooks and all that. But please, do me a favor. It's so simple. It takes a second. Well, not a second, but it takes 2 minutes. Go to YouTube, type in Peter G Show, and just hit the subscribe button. It's free. It'll notify you every time the show is on. And that's about it. No harm, no foul. You can watch it from the YouTube channel. Pretty good. I recommend that. And you don't see the short clips through the week, but you see the whole shows. And you'll see everything's up there. There's over 300 shows on YouTube from the beginning of the beginning, almost. So please, do me a favor and do that. And for those of you who like and watch the Peter G Show and sometimes can't because you're busy working or on the road, I urge you to just Google Peter G Show podcast. Put an earbud in your ear. You don't have to. You can listen to it through your car speakers while you're driving. And just pick a show and listen to the show on the go while you're at work. It's like, who could ask for more than that? I mean, it's, pretty simple. Tonight's show is going to be worthy of listening to. But watching's even better. I'm a visual kind of person. Remember a hole in the backyard? A hole. Did they dig? Sorry, I'm reading text again. I got my my Florida correspondent texting me. We have dog problems over there too. Boy, oh boy. We'll get back with that. Anyway, again, any way you want to do it, you can watch the Peter G Show on demand on over 11 different platforms, your YouTube, your Facebooks, your LinkedIn's, BitChute, Rumble. They're on a bunch of different places. And or if you can't watch, do the next best thing to being there, put an earbud in your ear and listen to the podcast. Podcasts are real popular. We are on 27 different platforms. Your Amazon Music, your YouTube podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, you name it, we're there. So just go do it. Thank you. I want to tell you before I forget, because I just about did, about next week. Because next week I'm getting back into next week, August 2nd, first show of August. We're going to be in August, folks. The year is going. Summer, bye-bye. Slowly, quickly fading away. Still going to be hot, though. So don't get too comfortable. But summer, before you know it, it's going to be dark out. I love it. People are going to be bitching all over again. And I can say that joke every year because it's the same old thing. It just never changes. Been hearing it since I was a kid. Anyway, Wednesday, August 2nd, spiritual life coach, award-winning author, matchmaker, energy healing, and intuitive reader, Marla Martinson is going to be on this show. She's got a new book out. She's a matchmaker she's done a lot of work in Beverly Hills, a lot of high-end matchmaking. We're going to talk to her, pick her brain about love. And, so many people want to be in great relationships. I get it. I totally do. And she's going to talk to us about that and how she operates. And we're going to find out about her book. And we might even take a call or two and see if we could help you understand about, why you're not getting into the relationship you want to get into and what it takes. I don't know. We're going to pick her brain. But Wednesday, August 2nd, again, Marla Mattinson, spiritual life coach, award-winning author, matchmaker, energy healer, and intuitive. So there's more to her than just a matchmaker. She's got some gifts. She's kind of like a medium matchmaker. And she's been doing it for a long time. So we're going to talk to her. I would check it out if I were you. And we'll talk about her new book, The Magic Seeker. Right here on this show. Who doesn't need, some intuitive work to help you be in a healthy relationship? I think everybody wants to be in a relationship. I do. I don't know many people who wouldn't want to be in a relationship. All right. So here's what's going to happen here. Because I still got storytelling to do. We're going to tell the interesting show. I never would have thought I'd be talking about what I'm going to talk about tonight, but we're going to be back in a minute. First, we want to hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their DX1 driver money-saving fuel additive that works. Be right back.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, Clean Star Products. Let me tell you, folks, they actually have something that works. If you want to get more mileage out of your car, better economy, cleaner emissions, more horsepower, take care of your car. Cars are expensive. Gas, don't have to tell you how expensive gas is. Take care of your car. It's like take care of your body, and your body will take care of you. If you want more information, go to www.cleanstarproducts.com. They'll talk to you. Good people. And again, they know what I do, and they still sponsor me. So if you go and talk to them, mention you talked to, you heard us, you heard it on the Peter G Show. I don't know, I'm doing something, but I got to tell you, it's not easy passing the California Board of Air Emissions and all that stuff. And if they can do that, they can do anything. So that ought to speak for itself right there. Let's move on. I want to tell you a story. It's not. I wish I was telling a better story. It's kind of a sad story with a happy ending. Hang on one second. Are you with me? Smooth. Okay. So a couple of weeks ago, I get a phone call. And it's from my daughter. It's hang on one second here. It's funny. I watch other people's shows, some of these streaming shows, and they're eating food while they're doing the damn thing. And here I am. I'm trying to keep things, polished a little more up to a certain level. And you got these people, and they're sitting here chomping on food while they're doing it. And I'm going, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should be sitting here in a wife beater and just don't care. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. But anyway, where was I? So a couple of weeks ago, two Mondays ago, I get a phone call from my daughter. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening, and she's crying hysterically. And she says, Mom called me. I was at the gym, and she says, Gus just came in the house and just dropped on the floor and started shivering and quivering and shaking and frothing at the mouth and all this kind of stuff. Now, for those of you who don't know who Gus is, I'm going to introduce you to Gus real quick. This is Gus. Gus is a 110-pound chocolate lab who has a tail that is thick and hard that when it wags, it wipes out anything in its trail. And you can't tell how big and solid he is because it's a head-on shot. But believe me when I say that he's 110 pounds. He's a pretty good-sized dog with a pretty good-sized head. He's not a bad dog. He's the farthest from a bad dog. He is a big bundle of love. That's all this dog knows. This dog isn't what I'd say the brightest bulb in the bunch, but he is the biggest bundle of love who wants to constantly be touched, who wants to constantly climb and sit on top of you. And he's huge. He's not a Great Dane, but he's big enough. But he's just this kind of dog that looks up at you with his big eyes and starts howling and talking to you like he's trying to tell you something. This is Gus, my daughter's 5-year-old dog. Now, she's got another dog who's 10. This is Lucy. Lucy is an Aussie and who's shaved down right now. Amen, because this dog sheds hair like crazy. Those Aussies just have long hair. This dog is too damn smart for her own good. She doesn't play by the rules. She doesn't want to give a shit about Gus or any other dog. She just wants to be a solo dog, but completely opposite of Gus. Hyper and just knows way too much. But she's a good dog, and she's 10. And these are two of my daughter's dogs. Now, my daughter also has a turtle. I should have had a picture of the turtle. I just didn't think of it quick enough. And she has a horse. But we're going to talk about these dogs for right now. But right now, because these are normal people's animals, because a horse is a whole different ballgame. But let's go back to Gus. Gus collapsed 2 weeks ago and just fell to the floor. And my ex calls my daughter and says, you might want to come home. Something is not right. And my daughter leaves the gym. This is in the evening and comes home. They decide to take this dog to the vet. Now, they couldn't go to the regular vet because it was after 5 o'clock. So they had to take it to the vet emergency room, where they were fortunate because like every other occupational job, from fast food to department stores or anything, everybody is short-handed. Nobody has enough help. And there's a sign the minute you walk into the emergency room of this certain particular veterinarian emergency room that they took him to, that says, please be patient. We are short-staffed, we're doing the best we can, and blah, blah, blah. They were lucky because that was the last animal they were able to take before they considered themselves overloaded full. But they took him in right away and put a high priority emergency because he was going down, and he was going down quickly. So my daughter calls me from the emergency room, says she's in tears. Now I'm going to tell you, this little girl, or not so little girl anymore, rarely cries through her entire life. Even as a baby, rarely cries. She was crying, and she says, Gus, something's wrong with Gus. We don't know what's wrong with Gus. Simple name, right? She says, something's wrong with Gus. We don't really know, and blah, 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 But here's the thing. For the many of you that have pets, whether it's cats or this and that, If you have to take your cat to any type of veterinarian, hospital, or anything, they don't touch your animal unless you have cash, credit card, something. They had to pay a retainer fee to take the dog in just so they could start figuring out what's wrong with him. And a pretty hefty retainer fee. I think it was a couple of grand. Because you're in an emergency room. Now, again, the vet is one thing. The emergency room vet is 3 times the vet because it's an emergency room. And she's crying. And she said, we don't know what's wrong with him. He just started frothing and he started shivering and he dropped. And so they had to, and he's a big dog, 110 pounds of dead weight's a good size, he's a good sized dog. He's not a Great Dane, but he's plenty good sized dog. When he pulls, when you're walking him, he pulls you. And she's crying. I don't get to hear my daughter cry very much. And when she does, it goes right into me because it takes a lot to make her cry. We've had some family issues, funerals and things like that. Rightfully so. Hell, we all cry. That's love. But she's pretty moderate and understanding about pets. But the problem was this dog was only 5 years old. So they're running. I go, okay, keep me informed. Let me know what's going on. A few hours go by. They're running tests. They're going to keep him, but mom doesn't know what to do. They keep wanting more money, and we might have to put him down because he's bleeding. He went into an anaphylactic shock. Something set him off. Something bit him. He swallowed something. They immediately start going for poisoning, like rat poisoning and things like that. But he went into shock, and this is a big ass dog. Now I don't know dogs, all their insides and everything, but my daughter quickly started educating me. He is bleeding through his gut when they gets ulcerated or when everything starts getting all messed up inside their gut. It starts leaking and they start bleeding through their gut. So he was losing blood. He's got diarrhea. He's shaking. She's a mess. And now it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I go, listen, if you want me to come there, I will come there and I will stay with you because I know your mother might have to, go to work in the morning or this and that. So I get there. We're up all night. I let, her mother go home. She's a mess. I've never seen my daughter this bad. And, as a parent, we hurt for our kids, period. Period. But for her, she was hurting for this dog because they were possibly having to make a decision whether this dog lives or dies because they didn't really know what was wrong with him. But they did know that he needed plasma transfusions, which I never knew about this, to give him more blood, to help coagulate the blood, to help seal off his guts and his intestines, to help him to stop bleeding out. Just letting him heal would not work. Or will not work. The chances are slim to none. So she takes me in to go see him. And I go in there and he's laying, they put him in this, because he's a big dog, and he's laying down in they put him in this shower because they didn't have any more room. And he's a big dog. And he's got lines and IVs going in him. They shave all 4 of his paws. He had things running through him all over. And he's laying down and he just looks up. And I'm going, well, he's looking. He's alert considering they got him pumped up full of all kinds of stuff, which we'll get to. And I'm just thinking in my head, it's like she's hovering over him, crying, saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. In other words, she doesn't want to have to do what they might have to do. And I'm hurting inside because her pain is my pain. And I love that dog too. He's done nothing to nobody but love people. And I just said, Anna, I said, why do we have, why can't we just take him home? If there's no helping him, why can't we just take him home and it's in God's hands? Why do we have to play that game? And if he lives, he lives. At least we took him home instead of just putting him out here. And I don't know what the hell happened between her mother and her mother comes back or whatever. And, they decide to go with the transfusions. And let me tell you again, folks, they don't do anything unless you pay up front. Now, again, this is my daughter's dog and her mother's dogs. I mean, they stay at their house. I love animals, but I'm too all over the place. I can't. It's just the responsible me knows that at this point in time in my life, you don't have pets that you can't be home for. They need consistency. So they decide to go ahead and do the transfusions. This dog's big, so depending on the size of the dog, on how many bags of plasma this dog needs. This dog ended up over the course of a day, 24 hours, took 5 transfusions. We'll get into the whole money part, but just real quick, it was almost $900 per 2 bags, plus $40 every time they changed a bag, plus all the tests and the labs and all this kind of stuff. She was a mess. She cried all night long. I've never seen her like this, and I felt awful. But this is what I guess my point being is, I see people on Facebook going through this all the time. And it hurts. I see people having to put down their pets from age and things like that. But while we were there, a little boy brings in a puppy who got hit by a car. They turned him away. They couldn't do anything because he didn't have the money. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, but I get it. You can't save everybody. And look how many animals are, they breed, strays. And so I give credit for all these people and a lot of women who, as they get older, they become dog rescuers and cat rescuers and just dive into the love. And, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't save everybody. You just can't. So it was a rough night. It was a real rough night. And finally, by about 5 o'clock in the morning, he stabled out and we decided to go home, and she was going to come back at 10 in the morning and they're going to run new labs. His liver was shutting down. I mean, everything. And again, this is the face of a dog that knows nothing but unconditional love, as many pets do. And it was a tough one. It was a tough one even for me, because I don't spend a whole lot of time with him, but he's just love. I mean, it doesn't matter when she brought him over the other night, because he's bouncing back now. And he just looks at you and he pushes against you, and then he sits his butt on you like he wants to just sit up in your lap. And, and that tail, it's like he's a bull in a china, shop with that damn deadly tail of his, but he's all love, as most of your pets and most of you understand. And it's a tough decision, and it's heartbreaking. And a lot of people don't have the money. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to cut to the chase. At the end of the day, thank God, and believe me, I prayed for this dog, for my daughter not to have to go through losing this dog. I said, screw everything else in my life. God, just give her a free pass on this one. Give her a free pass on this one. Don't let this dog go. Don't let him go before his time. Now, as I explained to her, in life, lots of people go before their time. We lose children, which is beyond my imagination. When you say I can't imagine what you're going through, you're right. The worst. But all kinds of things happen in life, and I explained that to her, and she knows. And I remember burying a goldfish of hers that she had for several years when she was a little bitty girl. She cried. That was her goldfish. That thing lasted for years for a goldfish. We buried him, and then I took her out for ice cream, but that hurt because she loved that little goldfish. Love is tough. Love hurts. I know I didn't write that song, but it's true. So needless to say, that just about $6,000 later, $6,000. Old Gus is just about back to his old self. He's still doing some bunch of medications. Even it's 2 weeks now, but he's just about. I mean, she nursed him back. She stopped everything she was doing and was there to feed him. For things not to be rough on his gut, and he had to take medications all different hours of the day, and several of them. She spent a fortune. but old Gus is alive and well. My point being is that there's a lot of people who can't afford that. I get it. There's a lot of people who don't have $60, let alone $6,000. But what will you do to save your pet, and how far will you go? Well, that got me to thinking about this whole thing. I know I see it all the time, but I guess everything happens for a reason, and that's why I'm talking about it tonight, because it's tough. So many people are so attached to their animals. So many. It's their children. You live and breathe with them. I mean, and they're great companions. And again, they love you no matter what. No matter how hard a day you're having. Their tails are wagging. And I'm not really a cat person. I can take them or leave them because my daughter's horses are like giant cats. They come to you when they want. They leave when they want. If you got treats, they're definitely going to come to you. But cats are, weird. But a lot of people love cats too. And there are some cool cats out there. I like the ones that are kind of like dogs. They have just different, dispositions. But there's a lot of cat lovers out there, and a lot of animal lovers in general. But tonight we're talking about what, I'm sharing my story, and I know it happens to you, and that's why we're sharing this whole thing, because you have to make decisions, and whether you let your pet go, because the veterinarians they're it's like they feel for you, but they're numb. They've seen it. They see it every single day. And if you can't pay for them, they can't help you. It's a business. And the prices, I have an itemized list of what they cost for the, almost like when you bitch about they charge $10 for an Advil in a hospital. Same kind of thing when a veterinarian hospital, same thing. But they have a business to run. The meds. My daughter sent me an itemized list of all the meds that they were giving him, and $45 for this, $79 for that, times 7, and just it's hard, and not everybody's got the money. Most people are just trying to live. Anyway, so that's where that's at, and I just wanted to share that story with you. And in a second here, I'm going to be sharing more stories. We're going to I'm going to put on the phone. I got somebody that's sitting in the wings right now. And he's going to share his story, because lo and behold, everybody's got these stories. But on the phone, I have Glenn. Glenn, can you hear me? Uh-oh. I don't think so. Why don't I hear you? Glenn, can you hear me? I don't hear Glenn. Why don't we hear Glenn? I know I got Glenn on the line. Hang on. If you're there, just... All right, on the phone I have Glenn. Can you hear me, Glenn?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the hell happened.
It's okay.
Hey, where are you calling from?
Newport News, Virginia.
Newport,
East Coast.
East Coast. All right, so we have somebody completely on the other side of the map over here. Glenn's got a story he wants to share, because lo and behold, something happened to you. You're a pet owner, right, Glenn? Hello?
Yes, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. You're
okay.
You're a pet owner, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. So what happened to you a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was?
All right. Well, my dog is 14. He was a stray dog in Costa Rica when he found me when I was on vacation down there in 2009. And he had Ehrlichia as a puppy.
What is that?
It's a tick-borne disease. When he found me, I picked 41 ticks off of him. He had worms. He had mange. He was the worst-looking thing. Okay. And the Ehrlichia is just a symptom of a tick-borne disease, and it affects the heart. So all these years, he's had an enlarged heart. Now that he's 14 years old, it's really starting to create some hassle for him. Do you hear music in the background?
Yeah, is it too loud for you?
Oh my Lord, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's really weird. Some people, it affects them real heavy. And okay, there you go.
That's all right.
There you go.
All right. And so, he has developed this asthmatic type cough over the last month or so. So I took him to the vet, and they put him on this steroid to kind of mask things because he's 14.
Yeah. What kind of dog?
So, he's just a stray mutt. He's my illegal immigrant dog.
Okay.
All right. And so I took him to the vet to get him checked over because the coughing is getting worse. It's getting more prominent.
All right.
And within the first 45 seconds of my sitting in the room with him and with the veterinarian, she's raked up about $1,251 worth of charges. First thing she says is, well, we need to do blood work.
Right.
And that's going to be about $571, $551. And I said, wait a minute, we just did blood work in January. Yeah, but we really need to do it again.
Yeah.
And then because of his enlarged heart, we really need to get him in to see a cardiologist. And I just looked at her and went, he's 14. Not that I would certainly begrudge him any necessary treatment, but you got to be realistic. He's 14 and he's always had this enlarged heart. And it's just a natural aging thing. And you know, it's just how it is.
Right.
So I was thinking today, knowing that you were going to call me tonight, and I came up with a good analogy, a good relatable analogy, and it goes like this. It's summertime, and in the lower 48, it's hot as it can be everywhere. So let's just say your air conditioning unit goes out tomorrow. What are you going to do? You're going to call an heating and air conditioning company. They're going to come out. They're going to send somebody out there. What you want is a service tech to come out, diagnose your problem, fix it, send you a bill, and get out, right?
Right.
But most of these air conditioning companies these days are sending selling techs. They're not really interested in fixing what you have. They want to sell you a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really need. And of course, then the price can go up from there. But you want you want a service tech to diagnose your problem, fix it, and get out of my house. And so that's the best analogy I can come up with this veterinarian issue. It was a case where if she had any experience at all, she could have looked at the record, the historical records in his file, and seen all of this stuff that I've just told you, the Ehrlichia, the enlarged heart, the whole deal, and would have known to just, continue on with the medication that he's been on. Maybe there's something else. You can't fix his problem. So I didn't need a selling veterinarian. I needed a veterinarian technician to just help me keep him comfortable and keep him happy and keep the coughing to a minimum. Because eventually I know this is going to be the demise of this dog. And it's going to kill me. But you have to be realistic. He's 14.
Right.
So that's in the gist of it. That's my experience with this veterinarian.
So wait a minute. So you took your dog to a veterinarian that you've taken him to a lot in the past. So they had a history on this dog. Is that correct?
It's the only veterinarian I've had him at since I brought him here in 2009.
Okay, because I can understand under emergency circumstances or things like they need to run tests because they don't want to take the word of like whatever happened in the past. They need to know the here and now. I mean, just as a human, and the same thing. It's like and I understand that, but I do believe you're correct with the sales thing. That it's more things, more money. And
well, now don't get me wrong. I'm a big a capitalist as there is, and I believe in providing a service that will serve the customer well. You charge accordingly. You don't try to break it off in anybody, but you charge accordingly, and you reap the profit because returning phone calls and profitability is what perpetuates you in the job in the market. But you don't have to make retirement on everybody that comes through the door. And I think a lot of these veterinarians are doing that. And it's not just veterinarians. I mean, it runs the gamut.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
I'm so on guard. I mean, I just had to go because I had a slight accident in one of my vehicles, and they're giving the estimate at the auto body shop, and I question everything. And I'm not even paying. I'm not even paying for it. I'm not even paying for it. But the thing is, I care. You have to. But a lot of people, because they figure like, well, you don't know, you're no damn veterinarian or you're no auto body guy and this and that. And I'm looking at the guy and I'm going through this. I'm going, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, huh? And he goes, yeah. And I say, well, why can't you just redo it? And he goes, labor wise and time wise, it's just cheaper for us to replace. And that's what they do nowadays. You replace. But was it you, or was I in a conversation with somebody else who said that the veterinarian looked at them when they talked about the money and they said, "Don't you love your dog?" Was that you?
Yeah, well, she didn't say it quite that way, but it was the underlying premise of, well, you must not love your dog if you're not willing to spend it.
Yeah.
And that's when I became indignant. I'll tell you straight up, I became indignant because within 45 seconds, she's hit me with $1,251 worth of unnecessary expense for an elderly dog, and she wasn't willing to provide additional refill medication for what she had prescribed before, and I'd already had refilled at least twice, I believe.
Was it working?
Yeah, it's just a steroid that kind of, okay, it's masking the problem. We all understand that.
Yeah.
But he's happy. He's content. Lord knows he eats like, king.
Uh-huh.
And so I just need more of the medication and to make sure that we're not missing something that could be done for him within reason.
Right.
And 45 seconds in, she's at $1,250. It's not that I'm not willing to spend it, but you have to be frivolous. You have to be good in.
Glenn, you're fading in and out. Are you walking around or anything? Or hello? Oh boy. Cell phones.
Hello.
Hey, I'm losing you.
Sorry, I'm walking the dog.
Okay. Yeah. Stand still. Stick your arms out like an antenna. So
needless to say, the visit did not last much longer. To his credit, his cough hasn't gotten any worse in the 3 weeks since I was at the veterinarian. Because we didn't spend the money. And that's funny. Some veterinarians might do this. Any other time I've been in there with him, you get a follow-up phone call. Hey, how's he doing? That sort of thing.
Oh.
Because I didn't spend the money, and because the visit didn't go like they planned, there was no follow-up phone call. So clearly they were being opportunistic, and I called them out on it.
Wow. But here's the thing, Glenn. What if within minutes they want to make sure they get enough money out of you to cover, what they're going to do. But there's a lot of people that can't afford that. They just can't. They don't.
Bingo.
Most people are just living hand to mouth. I got a lot of people that I talk to that are just trying to get by to have food on the table and are not prepared for a $60 emergency, let alone a $6,000 emergency.
Right.
What do you do? And your pet, and whether they're old or not, love is love.
Well, your pet's no different than a senior citizen family member. You love them as much as you can. You do as much as you can for them, and you just understand that reality is going to always prevail, and the end result is still going to be the same.
Yeah.
If he's in a lot of pain and discomfort, I don't want him here, just for my benefit.
Right.
Now he is a special circumstance because of his beginnings and where I got him from and how I got him here.
Right.
I have extended his life 14 years longer than most likely he would have had to begin with.
Yeah, more than likely.
So, I take comfort in that. But I know the time's coming.
Yeah.
But I did need to spend $1,251 to be able to say, well, there's nothing else we can do for him. Based on the history that the veterinarian already knew before he even walked in there.
Yeah.
And that corked me.
Right. See, that's why I wanted to get the whole story, because I didn't know whether it was an emergency or it was just you went in under regular circumstances. I mean,
just regular follow-up circumstances, and
wow,
bang, let's hit him for these crazy amounts.
Well, yeah, hit it, aim high, and get then go from there. And but
Right.
it's really really difficult, and again, it's very heartbreaking for a lot of people. And I see it every day on Facebook. I mean, I watch Facebook for everything from people, and their illnesses and their personal family losses to their pets. I mean, if you have enough people on your feed, in which I do because of the show, it's people I don't even know. I mean, who are losing loved ones or losing a pets. I mean, it's life and it sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
but that's love, and love is a it can be the greatest thing or it can be the most painful thing, but that's
That's
love.
right.
And with our animals, the same thing. And that's why I decided to talk about it, because I know there's so many people, if not, majority, a strong percentage of people who do have animals and care for them, and that's like their family. So just such as
Right.
yourself. Is your dog a good dog, or is it a pain in the ass, but you just love him anyway?
Oh no, he's awesome.
Oh.
He really is. Now he rules the roost. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But no, he's lovable, and the old saying, what side of your bread is buttered. I think he knows. I think he has known all his life the uncertain future we saved him from
Huh.
when we brought him into this country.
Yeah, in a lot of countries, dogs are just that, dogs. They get treated like dogs, and living or dying or killing them, or how you treat them, they're treated like dirt.
Yeah.
In the United States, it's a lot different than a lot of
Yeah.
lower hemisphere countries and things like that. They are nothing
Yeah.
to them. They're there, and if they live or die, doesn't mean shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's always had a great disposition, and I certainly didn't go to Costa Rica to bring a dog back, but it's funny how life plays out sometimes, and the hand that life deals you.
Yeah.
And my life has been better because of him. And so you
Wow.
want to try to do what you can do for them, but you have to be realistic. And when you start getting a high pressure sales tactic, when you're trying to help him and you're trying to find somebody to help you help
Right.
the dog,
Yeah.
and all that person wants to do is try to high pressure sell you into something that is not going to benefit the dog. 14, okay, in human years he's 98 years old. Why would you want to send a 98-year-old to a cardiologist if you hadn't been to one already? It's too late.
But a lot of people too, if they don't know, they're not doctors. That's why I question everything nowadays, even doctors, because they're beginning to be pharmacists only, and just being saying what they're being told. They're not looking into the underlying issues, and you're supposed to trust these people. I mean, you lay your trust in them to help you, but things are
Right.
changing. They're not as they used to be, and it sucks.
No. Well, yeah, when you go in and you want them to help you, and the first thing they want to do is help their bottom line.
Yeah.
Again, I understand about profitability,
Yeah.
but that was just, I think, trying to take advantage of the situation, and that's the wrong way to do business.
It's
It
expensive.
just is.
It's expensive to be in business. I understand that, but even my daughter,
It is.
because she's really into the whole. She's either going to be in specialty medicine for large animals, or a lawyer for large animals. But
Right.
and I said, you can't run an office and pay people. I mean, for being a good-hearted person, you'll starve to death.
Right.
But there's within reason. I mean, and I get it. There's being greedy, and then there's being still keeping that humanitarian portion of you in there. But
Right.
But anyway, all right, cool. I wanted to, I told you everything happens for a reason, whether it's the way you got your dog or the way we're talking and why we're talking about this and all the above. And we mentioned yesterday in our short chat for setting this up, everything happens for a reason, because you were telling
It does.
me about the other things from the show that got me banned. And so we question everything nowadays because life is not what it used to be.
That's right.
All right, look, I appreciate you taking the time out of your life. I know you said you got a lot of things going on right now, and but for sharing your story, and I thank you.
Hey, always good to talk to you, Peter.
All right, brother. Just keep on.
I will see you on Facebook.
Well, just keep spreading the word. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, because that banning from Dr. Artis and all that has cost me dearly, they have throttled me down. Just do me a favor and go over to YouTube and just hit the subscribe button. I don't care where you watch the show from, but I just need I need to beat them at their own game because they are not letting me grow. So please, and spread the word. All right.
Your show has merit. I guarantee it.
Well, thank you. I will tell my creditors that.
All right. Be safe. Take care.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, man. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Glenn sharing his story over there from Newport News, Virginia. He just recently went through it with an old senior dog of his, and I'm going to tell you what I'll do. I'll open up the phone lines for 5 minutes. Anybody have a quick story they want to tell about their pet and something they had to go through with the vets and the costs and what it cost them, and could they or could you not afford it? 818-259-7983. Otherwise, we're going to be out of time before you know it already. I can honestly, I just wanted to talk about this subject because how I know it affects so many people. I just know, but it's hard to get to everything. There's so many things going on in the world, and either you specialize, and I try to jump around and talk about a lot of different issues, our survival in this country, what's going on with this country. I try to talk about people, with addictions and traumas, and I try to share these stories to let you know that, like, I know you think you're the only one going through this shit, and it's hard, but you're not. And it's okay. It's okay to not know what to do once in a while, but you have to reach out and ask for help. If you let it stay within you, everything. If you hold it all in, you explode. Life is tough, and there are people willing to listen. I'm listening, because I want to share these stories because it's important for the other people who won't talk but are watching, or hopefully watching, and get something out of it. Glenn had a story prior to this phone call. He saw one of my shows about the COV vid. And the shots. And I had a doctor that was talking about it who was truly against it. And he had a lot of things to say about it that made a lot of sense to a lot of people. But that show ended up getting me suspended from YouTube because YouTube didn't want me to talk about the truth about that stuff. Take it or leave it. They said it was misinformation. I say that, they shut down a bunch of other shows of mine too and kept suspending me. But this person, Glenn, who was just on the phone, said, man, had I not seen that show, it changed a lot of my thought process and and in his opinion, saved a lot of, it helped him make an educated decision. Let's put it that way. So right there alone, one person, 818-259-7983. Oh, and if you can't, if we affect one person, doing this, that's one. That's one. Anyway. All right, look, it's again, if you have your saving an animal story, one of your personal pets, or you couldn't afford it and you had to put your pet down because they couldn't help you because you couldn't afford it. I mean, I totally feel for you. I understand. It sucks. I mean, there's people that can't, with their own personal health care, cannot afford the cost of health care. I mean, there's a whole nother show. I can go a month of talking about that stuff endlessly. I can just do nothing but specialize in talking about healthcare for us. It's tough. They'll put you out on the streets. Many have, or the level of care that you're entitled to compared to people who have money. And it's a tough one. But what do you do? What do you do? Anyway, I want to thank Glenn for calling in and saying that. But here's what we're going to do. I'm already running into Pensacola loves me. Do they? Do they? I love Pensacola. I love a lot of places, but Pensacola is near and dear to my heart. That's for sure. If we keep doing like we're doing here in California, there might be a lot more of me over there. You'll probably get sick of me over there. But it is what it is. California is driving me nuts. I mean, the idiocy of the rules and our governor, what's going on, and the stuff and the money going out the door. our taxpayer dollars. And I got a whole nother show on that kind of stuff. But billions of dollars have gone to they can't even account for things, and I don't want to get into it, but that's what I'm saying. There's just so much to talk about, and yes, I'm going to talk about this stuff, but I am going to remind you, I need you to please go hit the subscribe button on YouTube. I got to get over this hump over there to get to another level to where they'll start letting they'll start releasing the throttle down on me. Or at least I'm trying to prove a point. Even if you're watching me from other places, please share the shows. Share the shows. People may need to hear a certain show. You don't know what's going on in their heads. So please do that. I want to remind you that next week, before I even start that, I'm just very fortunate and grateful, and I thank God that my daughter and that dog of hers where is he? Hello. All lost. Good old Gus was able to that's the Sound of Freedom. I want to talk about that too. I see we had all that lined up. Please go see the movie Sound of Freedom. Speaking of children, here I am. I'm going to start jumping all over the place. Sound of Freedom. They're killing it, but they are still not, embracing it. Hollywood and the movie industry, they're not talking about this. It's killing all their giant movies, but it's the truth, and the truth cannot be stopped. So please go and see Sound of Freedom. Please do it. You owe it to yourself to see what's going on that they have been hiding, and that while we live our normal lives or try to live our normal lives, what's going on in the background of this country. It's sad. It's sinful. It's a shame. But please go and support that movie. I promise you, you'll walk out a different person. I promise you, you will walk out a completely eye-opened different person. Please. I was going to tell you about Gus. I'm truly grateful because I prayed so hard to not let my daughter have to bite the bullet on this one and lose her pet that was way before his time. And I am so grateful that it came out with a happy ending, but it could have not. It could have not, and it doesn't always happen for so many people. So for those of you, Gus is alive and well, and I'm telling you, this picture does not do him justice. He tries to talk like a human, and for a 110-pound solid dog, he thinks he's a Chihuahua and wants to be in your lap. And then there's this pain in the ass, but I love her too, Lucy. Actually, we've gotten a lot closer because I had to take her for a week while Gus was recuperating because she antagonizes the hell out of him. And we got a much better relationship. We started to gel because, I don't see Lucy very much. I see Gus a lot more. And again, everything happens for a reason. But I know you love your pets, and that's life. And what are you going to do? We're getting a lot of Dan saw that movie, paid for it too. I saw the movie a few days ago, paid for it too. It's an eye opener. That movie will change your life a little bit. Hang on one second. I'm gonna run out of time, but I know this is gonna happen. And you're on with Life of Peter G. Real quick, who's this?
This is Gail from Pensacola, Florida.
Hello, Gail from
How
Pensacola.
are you?
I'm here. You're here. We're all here, so I can't complain. What's on your mind? What's on your mind, sweetheart?
I've got a shorter version of what just happened to that guy. About a year ago, my female dog was only a year old, and she came in from outside, and her legs were like rubber. I mean, she couldn't walk. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on? So I called the vet, and they were getting ready to close. They gave me another number. I called another number, then another number, and then finally I got to the emergency vet. I took her down there. I got her to the door, and I could not get her through the door. She was fighting me. She's part pit bull, but she's a small version. Uh-huh. And when I walked in the door, the girl came out and finally said, "Do you need any help?" And I just looked at her like, "You gotta be kidding me. Yes, please help me. I can't get her through the door." And so once I got in and checked her in and everything, they said, okay, we need $600 up front. And I went,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
And so I had to get it out of my savings account to give to them.
Yeah.
And they said, and now if we don't use it all,
Right.
we'll refund the rest of it. Well, of course,
Yeah.
there was more.
Sure.
But everybody in there asked me, has she been around marijuana? Has she been around marijuana? Everybody asked me. The vet came in, you know, about 5 people asked me. I kept saying, no, 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 no. And finally she got treated and we went home. And the next day I went outside and we have these little white mushrooms that pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I found a patch of red mushrooms, and that's what she got into. It was not marijuana.
And what
And I wanted to go back up there and tell those people.
what happened to the dog? What was the dog doing?
She couldn't walk.
So dog got
Her legs were like rubber, and I couldn't get her through the door because she was fighting me.
How did they? Well, see that when you said that you couldn't get her through the door, I said that dog can't be that damn sick if she's fighting you because knows where the hell you're taking her. It's like, oh hell no, I'm just stoned.
No, she was tripping, yeah. Off of good old mushrooms.
Is that really what happened?
I mean, she's okay now. She's 2 years old now.
Is that what really happened? The dog got, it was like a hallucinogen. I mean, the dog got medicated through those mushrooms or poisoned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I dug them up and
Uh-huh.
went and put them in the garbage can.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's the only thing we could find out that happened to her. But I mean, almost 10 people at the emergency vet asked me if she'd been around marijuana.
Well, maybe they looked the symptoms may have looked similar, but I mean, at least the dog wasn't dying. I mean, and you know, should you not had the $700 or $600 or whatever, you know, the dog probably would have survived. I mean, what did they do to treat him?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, okay.
I'm old. My memory's bad.
It's all right.
It was about a year ago.
My point being is that you know what
they treated her.
You know, if something,
and I got to bring her home.
If that dog had, like, we think that poor old Gus may have eaten a black widow or something like that. I mean, he's just stupid enough to do something like that. I mean, stupid in a loving way. I don't mean that bad, but I mean, my daughter literally called me up one night and said, we just pulled a snail or a slug out of Gus's nose. Like he let oh yeah, you know. And I'm just, so what I'm saying is that, but the thing is, he was dying. He was going down quick. Something poisoned him. And so, what if you didn't have, and there was something wrong in your dog, and you didn't have $600? You could, you know, some people don't have $60.
Right.
And then, so what do you do besides cry? You know.
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
It's terrible what they.
It's hard, and there's insurances for animals you can get, but most people don't have insurance on themselves, let alone their animals, you know. And I just had to bring up this conversation because I knew it would hit home, because almost everybody has pets and that they love, you know. And so there it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I finally got through. It took me a little bit.
Yeah. All right, look, I'm out of time, unfortunately. I was just getting ready to close it up.
Okay.
But the phone, they just showed me that the phone was buzzing or blinking, and it was like, okay, thank you for calling in and sharing about your tropiopathic hallucinogenic puppy. You know, I hope it was a good trip. It was a $600 trip for that dog. That was the most expensive mushrooms around.
No shit.
Yeah, the next time, tell them to share. Okay.
Yeah, really.
All right. And again, thanks for watching. I hope that you're clicked onto the YouTube subscribe thing, because some of these some of these Facebook channels are going to go away because I have too many, and I need to start rounding people up to, you know, I did it, you know, things just kind of, you don't see hindsight when you're down the road, but there's too many channels going on, and people are trying to leave, you know, messages. And I said, I can only see them on certain channels. And either you're on the official Facebook Peter G Show, or the official YouTube Peter G Show, or the official LinkedIn Peter G Show. It's the only way I can see the comments live. So anyway, I love you. And thank you for calling in. And
all right. Love you too.
Just keep on spreading the word. All right.
Okay, I will.
I stay out of trouble.
You too.
That remains to be
Stay
seen.
away from those mushrooms.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go out looking for some. I think I need some after this. All right, sweetheart. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Last story of the night. Again, I want to remind you, because now I'm definitely over. Wednesday, next week, August 2nd, we're going back into matchmaking because a lot of people like these dating things and all that kind of stuff. But next week, August 2nd, she's not just a matchmaker. She's a spiritual life coach, award-winning author. She's got a new book out, too, that's called The Magic Seeker. And she's an energy healer and intuitive reader. So she's got a lot of stuff going on. She's just not a matchmaker. But we're going to talk to Miss Marla Martinson next week, August 2nd, Wednesday, and talk to her about, she's been doing matchmaking out of Beverly Hills and stuff like that for years. She's all over the place, online, websites, the whole deal. And we're going to get into some deeper detail, plus find out what her new book is about, because she has several books. And we might even take a phone call or two and see about your love life. Not sure. We'll see how much time we can get. But that's what we're doing. August 2nd, Wednesday, coming up. Marla Martinson, award-winning author, spiritual life coach, and matchmaker, energy healer, and intuitive. I'm telling you, I get the top of the heap. She's got it all. You're not going to want to miss this. I thank you for watching the Peter G Show, Life of Peter G. Don't forget, please, as I've mentioned several times on my, throughout the show, please go and hit subscribe on YouTube. Please help me get over that hump on that channel, because they have taken it all away from me, and the rebuild has been more than just your average rebuild. It's tough. So do me that favor. Don't forget, if you can't watch the show, put an earbud in your ear, Google Peter G Show podcast, and take the show on the road with you. Put an earbud in your ear while you're driving. You can listen to there's over 300 shows, all different topics. Now I have a people who love their pets and healthcare topic. That's a new one for me, but well worth it. I hope the show was worth it to you. Let me know. Comment, like, share. Let me know what you're thinking. Again, believe me, the ones that don't like me, they definitely let me know. They won't talk to me in person, but they'll write their comments. I wish they talked to me in person. I'd put them on the show. I want to know why. Again, you can't please everybody, nor do I try, but I do care. I want to thank Clean Start Products with their DX1 driver, my sponsor. They have something that actually works, helps you save money and fuel, better fuel mileage, cleaner emissions, more horsepower, more lubricity, takes care of your car, and saves you money and gas. Can't ask for much more than that. Again, they know what I do, and they still sponsor me. So go give them a buzz over at www.cleanstartproducts.com and let them know you saw everything I'm talking about right here on the Peter G Show. And that'll help me out too. So they know I'm doing something. But again, I'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, God willing. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show. I thank you for watching. I truly do. I love each and every one of you because I know life is full of choices, and you made a choice to take time out of your life to watch this show, and I love you for it. I hope to stay true through all the ups and downs that I incur weekly, daily, yearly to keep bringing you stuff that will keep you interested, that'll say, hey, that wasn't so bad. And so far, so good. All right? I love you. I do. Remind you to be kind. Life is tough. It's getting tougher. They are not making it easy. Everybody has good days and bad days, all right? I'm going to remind you to please be kind. And you don't have to be an ass, but you don't have to take a lot of shit from people either. Just take a deep breath before you speak, something I'm always learning. Most of the time I'm getting better. Sometimes I slip, but I digress. I try. Life is short. Let's all be here next week, and that way we can say, hey, we're all still here, okay? Again, as always, I love you guys. My name is Peter G. Thank you for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. See you next week, and peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.